Billy Abbott's shocking ultimatum to Phyllis Summers, the battle between business and family in The Young and the Restless. In a high-stakes clash of business and family loyalty, Billy Abbott delivers a shocking ultimatum to Phyllis Summers, leaving her in a dilemma that could have lasting consequences for both her personal life and professional future. The drama intensifies as Sally Spectra becomes an unwilling witness to this explosive confrontation, caught in the middle of a power struggle that pits maternal love against professional ambition. The tension builds. Billy versus Phyllis. The brewing tension between Billy and Phyllis has been simmering for months, and it's finally come to a head. What started as a partnership based on shared goals and mutual respect for each other's strengths now threatens to unravel due to their fundamental differences in handling business and family. Phyllis, always the ambitious and driven force, has made it her mission to get her son, Daniel Romalotti, involved in Abbott Communications. But Daniel, a man still reeling from the tragic loss of his fiancée, Heather, has made it clear that he's not interested in following in his mother's footsteps. The rift between Billy and Phyllis over how to handle this situation exposes just how far they're willing to go for success and family. In a tense meeting filled with emotion and frustration, Billy Abbott tells Phyllis, "Let Daniel go his own way, or our partnership ends right here, right now." The ultimatum is a sharp blow to Phyllis, who has invested so much into the idea of securing Daniel's future at Abbott Communications. For Billy, it's a matter of principle. He cannot condone pushing someone into a position they don't want for the sake of business. It's a move that sends shockwaves through the company and their relationship, forcing Phyllis into a corner with no easy way out. Phyllis's dilemma: family or business? Phyllis's internal struggle is the heart of this drama. On one hand, she's a mother, fiercely protective of her son and willing to do anything to secure his success, even if that means pushing him into something he clearly doesn't want. On the other hand, Phyllis is a seasoned businesswoman, and Abbott Communications represents her chance at a fresh start and a chance to prove herself in a world where she's constantly battling to be seen as more than just the ex-wife of Jack Abbott and a mother to an unwilling participant. For months, Phyllis has been maneuvering behind the scenes, making subtle, and not so subtle, attempts to get Daniel involved in the company. She knows that her influence can only go so far, but her determination has never wavered. Daniel, despite his reluctance, has been willing to entertain the idea, mainly out of his love for his mother. However, it's clear that Daniel isn't motivated by the same passion for business that Phyllis has. He still feels the weight of his grief over losing Heather and is uncertain about his place in the world, let alone a corporation that he feels disconnected from. The conflict intensifies when Phyllis realizes that her actions are putting her business partnership with Billy at risk. Billy has always been the more pragmatic of the two, and he's unwilling to sacrifice the integrity of the company or the happiness of his business partner for the sake of Phyllis's personal agenda. The clash between them is not just a battle for Daniel's future but a test of their trust in each other's vision. Billy's ultimatum forces Phyllis to make a choice that seems almost impossible. Does she prioritize her business ambitions or does she put her son's happiness and autonomy first? It's a decision that cuts to the core of her character, revealing her true motivations and the price she's willing to pay for success. Sally Spectra, the reluctant witness while Billy and Phyllis are locked in this battle. Sally Spectra stands on the sidelines, an unwilling witness to the confrontation. As the woman who has recently entered the Abbott family dynamic, Sally finds herself caught between the chaos that Phyllis and Billy are creating. Though she's a strong businesswoman in her own right, Sally is not immune to the emotional toll of watching two people she respects and cares for at odds with each other. Sally's role in this conflict is a curious one. As Phyllis's confidant, she has seen firsthand how Phyllis's determination can lead to unexpected outcomes. But as someone who knows the pressure of balancing personal and professional life, Sally can't help but feel sympathy for both sides. She understands Phyllis's desire to help her son, but she also knows that pushing someone into a position they don't want can have far-reaching consequences. And as Billy's ally in business, she knows that his loyalty to the company and his principles cannot be compromised. For Sally, the situation is a reminder of the delicate balance between ambition and family ties. It's a theme she has navigated herself, especially in her own tumultuous relationships and professional challenges. As the tension between Billy and Phyllis reaches a boiling point, Sally must decide whether to stay neutral or take a side in the dispute that could have significant ramifications for her own standing in the Abbott world. Daniel's struggle, a son torn between two worlds. The true emotional weight of this conflict falls squarely on Daniel's shoulders. As the one who is being pressured from both sides by his mother, who wants him to join Abbott Communications, and by Billy, who doesn't want to involve him against his will, Daniel finds himself trapped in a situation where no decision will please everyone. His grief over Heather's death still looms large in his life, and the idea of taking on a corporate role at this time feels like an insurmountable burden. His reluctance to follow his mother's path is rooted not just in personal preference but in a deeper, more existential struggle to find his own way after such a profound loss. Daniel is a man who values his independence and is determined not to be defined by his family's legacy. He wants to carve out his own identity, free from the expectations placed on him by Phyllis, Jack, and now Billy. His internal conflict is one that many viewers can relate to, being torn between familial duty and personal desire. As the pressure mounts, Daniel faces the ultimate question. Should he appease his mother and step into a role he doesn't want, or should he stand firm in his decision to pursue his own path, even if it risks severing ties with the people he loves? The fallout, what's next for Phyllis, Billy, and Daniel? In the wake of Billy's ultimatum, the fallout promises to be far-reaching. Phyllis finds herself at a crossroads, where the choices she makes will shape her future in more ways than one. Will she betray her own ambitions for the sake of her son, or will she sacrifice their relationship for the sake of business? Her actions will inevitably have consequences, both for her relationship with Daniel and for her professional standing at Abbott Communications. For Billy, the risk of losing his partnership with Phyllis could mean the unraveling of his business endeavors, but it's a price he's willing to pay to maintain his integrity and to ensure that the company remains on the right path. However, the personal cost of this decision may weigh heavily on him as he sees the strain it places on his relationship with Phyllis, someone he once trusted and admired. And for Daniel, the question remains whether he will follow his own path or give in to the pressure around him. In many ways, his journey mirrors that of many people who are torn between the expectations of family and their own desires. The resolution of this conflict may not come easily, and the emotional toll it takes on all involved is sure to leave scars that will last long after the dust settles. As the drama unfolds, viewers are left wondering, will Phyllis choose business over family, or will she finally listen to her son and let him find his own way? The answers are still to come, but one thing is clear: The Young and the Restless has set the stage for a confrontation that will shake the very foundations of the Abbott family and their business empire. The Young and the Restless. Phyllis, Billy, and Sally's clash, a battle of family, business, and trust in a tense and emotionally charged moment. The brewing storm between Phyllis Summers and her son Daniel Romalotti takes a dramatic turn. The conflict at the heart of The Young and the Restless intensifies, and just when it seems things can't get any more complicated, Sally Spectra steps into the fray. As she enters at the peak of the conflict, catching Phyllis in one of her most vulnerable moments, the situation reaches a boiling point. Sally's entrance is more than just a twist of fate, it's an opportunity for her to further manipulate the situation to her advantage, especially when it comes to Phyllis's ever-growing influence over Billy Abbott. Will Sally use what she sees to her advantage, or will she back off and let the drama unfold on its own? The tension between Phyllis and Billy, a business partnership on the brink for weeks. The relationship between Phyllis and Billy has been hanging by a thread. Their once solid business partnership has been increasingly strained, with Phyllis's personal ambitions conflicting with Billy's professional integrity. Billy, as the co-owner of Abbott Communications, has been growing more uneasy with Phyllis's relentless push to involve her son, Daniel, in the business. Phyllis, ever the mother tiger, sees Abbott Communications as Daniel's future, believing it's the perfect way for him to heal after the tragic death of Heather. However, Daniel's reluctance to join the family business is clear. He's not interested in corporate life and has been quietly resisting his mother's pressure to follow a path that doesn't align with his personal goals. Phyllis, however, is determined. She's convinced that Daniel's involvement in the business will help him regain some focus and provide him with a sense of purpose. But as her attempts become more forceful, Billy's patience starts to wear thin. He has always supported Phyllis in business matters, but his loyalty to the integrity of their company outweighs his sympathy for her maternal instincts. His growing discomfort with Phyllis's approach, particularly when it comes to Daniel, leads to a clash, one that threatens not only their personal relationship but also the future of Abbott Communications. In a particularly tense exchange, Billy makes it clear to Phyllis that he cannot support her vision if it means pressuring Daniel into a position he doesn't want. "I won't let you destroy this company for the sake of your son," Billy declares. His words hit Phyllis hard, as she realizes that she's at a crossroads. Does she continue pushing her son into a life he doesn't want, or does she sacrifice her business ambitions to preserve her relationship with him? It's a decision that will affect the future of both her family and her business. Sally Spector's entrance. A new player in the drama. Just as Phyllis reaches a breaking point, Sally Spector enters the scene. Her timing couldn't be more perfect for someone like her, always quick to seize an opportunity. Sally has already expressed her concerns to Audra Charles about Phyllis's influence over Billy, and she's been watching the situation unfold with growing frustration. Sally sees an opportunity to weaken Phyllis's hold over Billy, and she's not about to let it slip by. Sally has been frustrated with Billy's emotional support of Phyllis, which she believes is clouding his judgment. As a woman who has always been direct in her approach to business, Sally understands the dangers of mixing personal feelings with professional decisions. Her concern isn't just about Phyllis's manipulations, but about how much Billy's emotional attachment to her is affecting their work. Seeing Billy in this weakened state, supporting Phyllis's every move, only makes Sally more determined to take action. This is her chance to plant the seeds of doubt in Billy's mind about Phyllis's suitability for the business, and she knows exactly how to do it. "Billy," Sally begins, her voice calm but with an edge of determination, "you can't let Phyllis make decisions for you. She's too unpredictable, too emotional. You need someone who can keep their head in the game." Sally's words are a subtle but potent warning, and she can see the effect they have on Billy. For a moment, she wonders if this might be the perfect time to push him further, using the conflict with Phyllis to her advantage. The more Sally observes, the clearer it becomes that Phyllis's behavior is not only damaging her own reputation but also jeopardizing Abbott Communications. While Phyllis may be focused on her son's future, Sally sees the bigger picture. Billy needs to take charge and make decisions that protect the business from being dragged down by personal drama. Will Sally use what she's witnessing to finally convince Billy that Phyllis is a liability to their work, or will she take a step back, allowing Phyllis and Billy's dynamic to unravel naturally? Daniel's struggle, searching for solace outside the family drama. As Phyllis continues to fight for her vision of Daniel's future, Daniel is quietly seeking solace and guidance elsewhere. The emotional turmoil surrounding his mother's relentless push to get him involved in the family business only deepens his sense of isolation. Instead of discussing his career with his mother or engaging in the family business, Daniel has found comfort in a new, unexpected source, Tessa Porter. Recently, Daniel approached Tessa with an unusual request. He wanted to learn how to play guitar. This seemingly simple request reveals much about Daniel's current emotional state. After the death of Heather, Daniel has struggled to find direction and purpose. He's been lost in a fog of grief, unable to focus on his future or make any decisions regarding his career. His mother's constant push to get him involved in Abbott Communications only intensifies his feelings of being trapped. Tessa, with her own background in music and her more grounded, creative approach to life, becomes the perfect outlet for Daniel's need to heal. By learning to play guitar, Daniel hopes to reconnect with a part of himself that has been lost in the wake of Heather's death. The act of making music represents his desire to express his feelings in a way that doesn't involve the complicated mess of family expectations or corporate responsibilities. It's a way for him to reclaim some control over his life and make decisions that are true to himself, not dictated by others. Daniel's choice to seek guidance from Tessa rather than his mother speaks volumes about his desire to distance himself from the pressure of Abbott Communications. It's clear that Daniel doesn't want to be part of the family business, and his decision to pursue a creative outlet like music is a way of signaling to his mother that he's not ready to follow her vision for him. He's looking for something more meaningful, something that will allow him to find peace and closure after the loss of Heather. The crossroads, what will Phyllis, Billy, and Daniel choose? As the drama unfolds, the central question remains, how will Phyllis, Billy, and Daniel navigate this complicated web of family loyalty, business ambition, and personal freedom? Phyllis is caught between her deep love for her son and her desire to see him succeed in the family business. Billy, meanwhile, is increasingly frustrated with the emotional baggage Phyllis brings to their professional partnership, and Sally Spectra sees an opportunity to undermine Phyllis's influence and seize control of the situation. For Daniel, the question is whether he will finally break free from his mother's grip and pursue a path that is true to himself. His choice to seek guidance from Tessa is a bold statement that he's not interested in being part of the family business. But will his mother accept this decision, or will she continue to push him into a role he doesn't want? As the characters face these critical decisions, the tension between them will only continue to rise. The future of Abbott Communications, as well as the personal relationships that bind them, depends on how they choose to move forward. Will Phyllis and Billy be able to resolve their differences, or will Sally exploit the divide between them to secure her own position? And will Daniel ever find the peace he desperately seeks, or will he remain trapped in the expectations of those around him? The drama is far from over, and as these characters navigate their complicated lives, the stakes have never been higher. The Young and the Restless promises more twists and turns ahead, and fans can't wait to see how this gripping story unfolds. The Young and the Restless, Phyllis's impossible choice, family or business? Phyllis Summers has always been a woman of ambition, fiercely protective of her family, especially her son Daniel Romalotti. Over the years, she has navigated the treacherous waters of Genoa City, using her cunning and resilience to build a career that has earned her both respect and enemies. But now, Phyllis finds herself standing at a crossroads that will define her future, both personally and professionally. The decision she must make could have lasting consequences for her relationships, her business ambitions, and her son's future. Will Phyllis put family first, risking everything she has worked for in her career, or will she double down on her business aspirations, even if it means losing her son in the process? The strain between Phyllis and Daniel for months. Phyllis has been pushing her son Daniel to join Abbott Communications, believing that it's the perfect way for him to get his life back on track after the tragic death of his fiancée, Heather. Daniel, however, has shown no interest in the family business. Instead, he's been seeking solace and meaning in other areas of his life, most recently turning to music and his bond with Tessa Porter. This has put a massive strain on their relationship, as Phyllis cannot understand why Daniel refuses to see the opportunity she's presenting to him as a chance to heal and rebuild. Daniel's reluctance to join the family business is not just about career choice, it's a statement of independence. Daniel is not someone who wants to follow in his mother's footsteps, nor does he feel the same urgency she does to secure his place within the Abbott empire. His grief over Heather's death is still raw, and he feels as though his life has been on pause. Every time Phyllis pushes him to join the company, he feels suffocated and more isolated. His desire for a fresh start, free from the constant pressure of family expectations, becomes even clearer as he distances himself from his mother's ambitions. But for Phyllis, Daniel's refusal is more than just a personal disappointment, it's a challenge to everything she's worked for. She believes that by getting Daniel involved in the business, she can ensure his success and stability. It's her way of securing his future, even if he doesn't see it that way. For Phyllis, this is not just about business, it's about family. She's been through so much in her life, fighting for everything she has, and she's unwilling to let her son fail or fall into obscurity when she has the power to help him. Billy Abbott's ultimatum. The breaking point. Enter Billy Abbott, Phyllis's business partner, and the one person who stands between her personal desires and her professional ambitions. Billy has been a loyal partner, but as tensions rise over Phyllis's relentless pursuit of getting Daniel involved in Abbott Communications, Billy reaches his breaking point. He understands Phyllis's drive, but he also knows that they cannot allow personal feelings to jeopardize the future of the company. In a pivotal moment, Billy delivers an ultimatum that forces Phyllis to confront the reality of her situation: let Daniel go his own way, or our partnership is over. It's a cruel blow, but Billy's decision is clear. He cannot continue to support Phyllis's emotional manipulation, especially when it's hurting the business. Billy has always been the more pragmatic of the two, and he believes that mixing family with business could destroy everything they've worked for. Phyllis is left reeling. For once, she is faced with a decision that doesn't have a clear answer. Does she continue to push for Daniel's involvement, risking her partnership with Billy and the future of Abbott Communications? Or does she step back and let Daniel make his own decisions, even if it means potentially losing the one business venture that has given her stability and power? The crossroads, family versus business. Phyllis has always been someone who puts her family first, especially when it comes to her children. Her love for Daniel is unwavering, and she's been willing to sacrifice everything for his happiness and success. However, Phyllis is not naive. She knows that in the cutthroat world of business, compromises must be made. She has sacrificed her personal life, her relationships, and even her own happiness to climb the corporate ladder. She's made enemies, she's been manipulated, and she's learned that trust in business is as fleeting as success itself. But family has always been her anchor. Despite her sharp business acumen and ruthless nature, Phyllis has never wavered in her devotion to her son. Daniel's reluctance to join Abbott Communications, however, challenges that devotion in ways she didn't anticipate. She's been pushing him because she believes it's what's best for him, but in doing so, she's inadvertently alienated him. Now, Phyllis is at a crossroads. She could step back and allow Daniel the space to figure out his own life, even though it might mean losing her business partnership with Billy. It's a painful reality, but one that might be necessary for her to preserve her relationship with Daniel. On the other hand, she could choose to double down on her efforts, believing that she knows what's best for her son and the future of Abbott Communications. Phyllis has never been one to back down from a challenge, especially when it comes to her family and her career. She's always fought for what she wants, and this situation is no different. She could play the long game, hoping that Daniel will eventually come around and see the value in joining the family business. But the cost of that could be high, especially if it means sacrificing the trust and support of Billy, who is the only one who has truly backed her in her professional life. A woman who never gives up. Phyllis is a woman who thrives on control. Over the years, she's manipulated situations, played her cards carefully, and emerged victorious in ways that no one else could. Her cunning and intelligence have allowed her to build a career in Genoa City that many envy and fear. But what Phyllis has learned through all her triumphs is that the most important thing in her life has always been family. Her love for Daniel has been the driving force behind her every move, and now, she is faced with the painful realization that her desire to protect him and secure his future might be the very thing that drives him away. But don't count Phyllis out just yet. This is a woman who has never accepted defeat, no matter the odds. Whether it's through manipulation or sheer willpower, Phyllis will fight for what she believes in, even if it means losing everything she has worked for. She is a force to be reckoned with, and as she faces this impossible choice between family and business, she will undoubtedly find a way to make things work, on her terms. As the drama unfolds in The Young and the Restless, viewers will be left wondering whether Phyllis will choose family or business, and what the consequences of that choice will be. Will she lose Billy and Abbott Communications, or will she manage to secure both her son's future and her own? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, Phyllis will not go down without a fight. This is a crossroads that will define Phyllis's legacy in Genoa City, and no matter the choice she makes, it will leave a lasting impact on everyone involved. The stakes have never been higher, and the future is uncertain. Just the way Phyllis likes it.